YouTube channel. Welcome back to those who've been watching my videos, and welcome to new viewers. If this is your first video you've seen on my channel, I do mainly gaming videos. Man, I've been hooked on Game of Thrones 2.0 recently. Grabbed some copies at Gen Con with my gaming group, and yeah, we grabbed at least 3 copies each. Brought them back up here to Canada, and one of my metamates, Throne Runner, you can check out his YouTube channel. He wanted to have a tournament, and with the 6 of us who had core sets, and since we couldn't do a tournament at a local store, I guess we could, but we decided to do one basically in my living room, which we've done for the last 2 years. So this would be our 3rd annual. We called the Iron Price Invitational. That's because Throne Runner's favorite house was Greyjoy in Game of Thrones 1.0, which the last 2 tournaments. The first one we did just a regular 1.0 Joust tournament, and the second year we did a 1.0 Game of Thrones draft tournament. So this year we decided, it always happens in the summer, we decided to do a Game of Thrones 2.0 Joust with 3 core sets, build some decks. So this was basically a week ago, I believe. We did it on a Sunday afternoon. We basically all built our decks. Didn't really test them, I don't believe. We all basically lived separately except for me and my wife. We kind of worked on our decks a little bit together, but we just whipped something up the night before. Just trying to have some fun with the game, not really knowing where the meta is at or which decks are hot. We pretty much all picked our favorite houses. And yeah, so there I am on the right, as you can see, you already saw, playing my Martell, which is my favorite house from 1st edition, and I know they've been getting some hate in 2nd edition, but I still want to try them out and have some fun with them. So I decided to switch it up last minute here and put in Banner to the Lion to match him up with Lannister to, you know, get some Tyrion action in there and some of those limited gold producing units. Throw them in the deck to help with the economy, and just add some more intrigue icons. Go with the focus of intrigue. A little heavy, maybe a little too heavy, as I found out for the day. And on the left here we have my metamate Justin. He's been playing with me for the last couple of years in Game of Thrones 1.0. And he brought a Night's Watch banner to the Rose, so he felt Tyrell was a good support faction, which I have to agree with. He decided to pair them with Night's Watch, so his faction was Stark in the 1st edition, so he loves the Night's Watch, Stark, Wildling, kind of the creatures from the north, I guess. That would be his thing. So this is our first game of the round 1. We did 3 rounds of Swiss with cut to the top 4. I know it's a very small tournament, but hey, no one else around really has the game yet, so we just wanted to play. So we love having our intimate little tournaments, so they're fun. So it was all in good fun. Yeah. So we got Justin here. He's putting out some units. He's got some Night's Watch going. Hasn't really seen any Tyrell yet. This game went kind of long. I remember we had forgot to start a timer on the first round, so the game actually goes a little longer. We were trying to do 50-minute rounds, try to be quick, so we weren't there all day. But yeah, the first round we forgot to set a timer, and I know this game went a little over, so yeah, I apologize for the length of this game, but the other ones should be a few minutes shorter for sure, if not more. So yeah, so I got a good board there to start. I got Doran Martell out, and I got Littlefinger, so you know I can get going some card draw, and I got some good resources, I feel. So looks pretty good. There he's got his card draw out, that damn Messenger Raven, that he can bounce back to hand and draw a card as a dominance action. I always want to Milk of the Poppy that thing, but then I look down and see it's no attachments. And I find with Night's Watch I usually look across the board, and yeah, a lot of them are no attachments, I've learned. So yeah, it's kind of tough with the Milk of the Poppies against Night's Watch. A lot of them having no attachments. So yeah, we recorded all the games that we played that day, actually. Throne Runner brought down his GoPro, and I had mine, and this one's recorded on Logitech webcam I had lying around. But the sound wasn't the greatest, so that's what main reason why I'm doing the voiceover on this one, and I'll be doing them on a few others. I'll try to do them on the games that I'm playing for sure, but we'll see how time goes. I know people like the commentary rather than listening to silence, I guess, of us huffing and puffing while we make card choices. But some of them I will just leave the players. They got some good sound on them, so I'll let you listen to the players as they make their decisions. But yeah, see Justin has his 2 of those Messenger Ravens out, so he's looking good for the long game as long as he can keep them out there. And but I don't know what other fodder he really has there. He's got Yorin out, but I don't know about killing him right away. And he's got Sam going over there, which also has insight. So the card draw he's got going on the board is it's got me a little worried. And that's one of the Martell weaknesses I find is Doran, I feel, is like the only card draw. I know there's those what are they called? The little 2-drop that you can bring into play, and then you grab the 2 cards off the top of the deck. The Green Blood Traders. Yeah, after they enter play, you grab the top 2 cards of your deck, add up to one of those to your hand, and then place the others on the bottom of your deck in any order. I don't really consider that card draw. It's card replacement, which is nice. Lets you look at 2 cards to help with card quality. You know, you can try to dig a little deeper for what you're trying to find in your deck. But I love Martell from the first game. Drawing, revealing, drawing, more draw. And yeah, I just love filling up my hand with options and, you know, planning my attack with what's in front of me. But I find in 2.0, there is some draw, and I don't mind if there's a little bit of draw. I know it's early in the game, but just, man, when some games when I don't see Doran or he gets Milk of the Poppy or he gets killed and I have really no other draw in my Martell deck, it starts to hurt. It starts to hurt, especially if I'm looking for certain pieces to set up that, you know, round 5 or 6 power rush, you know, for the win, using Doran's game or whatever. It can get tough, so I'm still trying to figure out the Martell decks, how to build them in 2.0, and we're still goofing around with resources and that kind of stuff. But the card draw options in Martell, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. It hurts a little bit, so it's hard to hold them off for a while and build up. If you know, you can protect your hand, I guess, with the intrigue icons and plenty of strength with intrigue in Martell. So I guess you can, you know, defend off a lot of intrigue challenges and keep cards in your hand and then empty the opponent's hand on the other side. So I guess that's kind of their card advantage, I guess, emptying the other guy's hand. But if you're losing lots of military, then you're losing cards in the other way. So yeah, it's kind of rough. I don't know. Still seeing if I like them or not, but I have fun with it. I like picking the underdog, I guess, and you know, trying to come from behind. It's kind of fun watching games swing and riding that edge of losing with Martell. It feels like you're losing the whole game until you win. It just feels very weird. I'm not sure it's the best way to go. I'm hoping, you know, they give some other cards that make them feel a little bit more like they did in 1.0 Game of Thrones, but we'll see. I like the fresh feeling, I guess. So, but yeah. Alright, so it looks like we're going around 2 plots here. Let's see what we flip. So I put a little green token on there to show that intrigue was what he was blocking with Calm of Westeros. So he's got reinforcements, so this is a 1/0/1. He can drop, I believe, a unit from his hand or his discard pile into play for 5 costs or less. And then I played Counting Coppers, which is draw 3 cards, and 2/3/1 on that one. So a little short on the resources, but I feel I have to play that card. And I debate putting 2 of those plots in Martell just to get some card draw going. I didn't play with it for a while, and I started realizing you need it, especially later game, you know, or if you're trying to figure out where you're going with your plan. And sometimes you just need to stop for a minute and draw cards and, you know, go a little short on the resources. And sometimes you need it to dig for your resource locations, your limited gold producers, or your characters that'll help you get gold. Sometimes you just fall behind and it hurts, and your opponent's ahead of you. So as you can see, Justin's Night's Watch board is a lot bigger than mine. He has a lot of characters out. I think that's Benjen on the end there. He's got out, which you can die and put into your deck, and he gets you some power. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Benjamin Stark. Each ranger you control cannot be bypassed by stealth, and he's got an interrupt. When he's killed, gain 2 power for your faction, then shuffle him back into your deck instead of placing him in your dead pile. And he's a 5 cost, 4 strength. Another thing I like in Night's Watch there is that +1 reserve bonus on Samuel Tarly. That's huge. You don't think much of it, but man, when you're getting those extra draw from that Messenger Raven and Dominance, and then you look down at your reserve, and a couple times I've seen it where it's whoops, draw too many cards there, and you have to discard down. But then you look down, you see you got Sam or the Iron Throne out, and having an extra reserve just helps so much. I started putting an Iron Throne in my deck just for that +1 reserve, and the dominance power, obviously 8 strength towards your dominance can definitely, in these games that seem to go 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 9, 10 rounds long sometimes, getting that extra dominance power trickling in each round definitely helps. Not to mention that +1 reserve. So good. So good. So I got an Edric Dane out there. Love that guy. 2 costs, 1 strength. Pay a gold to give him an icon of your choice. But he's got stealth, which is so worth it. It's just tough trying to save gold sometimes for him, which is why I stuck the Tyrion in there, because Tyrion giving you 2 gold during the challenge phase. Each time an intrigue challenge is initiated on either side of the board there, you get that extra 2 gold, and you can use it to spend on events, and Edric Dane is a great target for that gold. So giving him an icon of your choice, especially when I'm going second, I usually get that gold, on the opponent's turn, or I can do an intrigue first, and then use Edric for power or military using the stealth. I think that's a bodyguard I put there on Doran. Help keep him alive. Get that extra use out of him. And on this day, I don't think I was playing any attachment hate in my deck. I've been experimenting without it to try to see, how it works if I get Milk of the Poppy to not give a crap. I have March to the Wall, which in worst case I have used that to, if I know I got more copies of Viper or Arion or Doran or whoever it's attached to, if I know I got more copies coming or I have them in my hand, I purposely won't dupe the character if they get milked, and then I'll March to the Wall, discard them, and so that way I can play the next card out without Milk of the Poppy on it. That's trying to get out of a jam. It's not the most efficient way, I know, but I just want to see how the deck worked with Milk of the Poppies on my dudes, because it doesn't remove your traits, so Doran's +1 strength to Lords and Ladies isn't affected when they put it on Arion or Viper, so I can still beef them up good, and I can still attach Dawn to them and make them a huge strength. It just sucks sometimes not doing that Viper ability, but I find sometimes I get stuck using Viper on defense, trying to hold the opponent off. And when you're using him on defense, you can't trigger his ability anyway. So usually when he gets Milk of the Poppy, I just use him as a big beat stick or a wall to just try to stop my opponent on the most important challenge. I want to block that phase, which isn't too bad. And then I can still use Doran's game for a big power grab later in the game. But yeah. But yeah, I don't think Viper's ability, it's that great. It's tough sometimes getting him out, keeping him on the board, if you don't see his dupes, and but you can get him out there without Valor in the environment. I guess you can keep him on the board pretty easy, but you just gotta be careful with the March to the Walls and the Milk of the Poppies and whatnot. But you can't rely on him to be your win condition. I know he helps, but that ability, don't let it trick you into making you think you always have to use him as attacking. Sometimes to survive and make the game last a little longer to help you get your Doran's game set up, or to hold the opponent off, you got to use him as a defensive character, especially when you're going second a lot. I find when I get Sunspear on the board, or even in general, I want to go second a lot with Martell, especially because of that one event they have, Unbowed and Bent and Broken. You can't play that unless you're not the first player, so that one stuffs a challenge type after you lose a challenge. So, and Sunspear raising the claim after you lose a challenge. Obviously, if you raise a claim on a challenge type after you lose, you want to be going second so that you can hit them back with that. It's kind of useless. It is actually useless when you go first. So, and I like seeing the opponent marshal first. so I can react to that. Because you have to be very careful with Martell. You gotta just put out enough to keep the game going and try to keep cards in your hand, so you can usually protect them and then basically surprise them later in the game. And you don't want to get hit too hard by that wildfire. You want to make sure the other opponent kind of has to keep eking out the board, and when they go first, they might overcommit guys, put too many out on the board, and then you can hit them with a wildfire nicely, and then you got some characters in your hand you're trying to play after that. I've even dabbled lately with putting 2 wildfires in my deck to try to see if I can trick the opponent, but I don't know, it's been a little tough. It's without the card draw in this game and the low resources, it's hard to hit them with a wildfire, and then I find that usually when I hit them with a wildfire, it's after they've built up a board, and I hit them a little late, and it shrinks them down, but they usually don't have a huge hand to then flood the board right after to hit them with a wildfire next turn, or even the turn after, and by then it doesn't hit as hard, so I don't know if it's the best play, but I just want to see what it would be like to trick the opponent, into 2 resets, and see if you can, get them to commit too much on the board because you're hitting them with intrigue and you're scaring units out of their hand. If that a second wildfire can just clean up the board and really clinch the win. But I feel there's other plots that are too good to leave out of the deck to go with 2 wildfires. So, but yeah, just an experiment I've been trying lately. And we both got some plots out there that are going to get us some mad money. We're counting gold for each opponent's characters. So Justin's going to grab 4 gold. And yeah, I'm getting, 6 there with his characters. So... Oh, I guess I already grabbed it. Sorry, he already marshaled. My bad. It's my marshal there. So those gold tokens there I have were from the Kingslayer tournament. I got for making the top 4 at Gen Con, the first Game of Thrones 2.0 tournament. I have other videos on my channel if you haven't seen them. I did one with commentary where you can see my top 8 and top 4 matches, and then I recorded the finals with Salim and Alex from Montreal. I've played with them at many tournaments. We've driven up to the Ottawa, Montreal area and played with them. Those guys are great. And yeah, thanks again to Will Lentz from the White Book for running that tournament and gathering those prizes. I love those gold tokens. They're so nice. I've been using them since I won them at the tournament. And that little house card there, that's mixed between my Martell Banner to the Lion there, is a Kingslayer house card we got for making the top 16. So yeah, thanks again, Will, for those prizes. So slow game, as you can see. Justin's got 4 power there. I've only got 2. Yeah. We're just building up our boards. I got a Gaston Gray out there on the right. That's standing location. In the middle. That's to the right of my Rose Road. I love Gaston Gray. I love the threat of it. I love putting it out there, especially against Lannister when they got Tywin out, or actually any faction. When they got their big 7-coster out, or a character with attachments and dupes, and they have renown and stealth and all that on their characters that they spent 7 gold on, plus their attachments. They've multiple cards on them. Put all their eggs in one basket. I love when they get that all built up, and then, I hold on to a Gaston Grey for a couple rounds, let them build that up, and then I pop it down. And I love when I play the Gaston Grey. I look up at the opponent, they grab it, they read it, and the 3 little words in the brackets there at the end, the cannot be saved. So you can, after you lose a challenge as a defending player, you kneel and sacrifice Gaston Grey to return the attacking character to its owner's hand. Cannot be saved. So the attachments will fall off. The power will be gone, the dupes will go away, and that character will be back in their hand. And it's great when you go second, because you can bounce it back in their hand, and then you can intrigue and try to hit that character that went up into their hand and discard it, which I've done many times. If the opponent's, gets a little risky, eventually sometimes they just have to, throw that Jaime Lannister who's got 2 dupes on him and, has a seal of the hand or something on him. They'll do it. They just have to. And then I'll bounce it back to their hand and, slow the opponent down. It makes them have to spend the resources to bring them out after if you don't intrigue it out of their hand. And yeah, it knocks that power off. Gets the game nice and slowed down. I love the threat. Where, 2 or 3 rounds will pass and they don't want to attack with their Tywin anymore. He's got power on them. or they're Jaime Lannister. I love just, watching the opponent try to figure out what to do, and they feel a little frustrated because they can't just throw Jaime in that military challenge, keeping him standing, and, expect me not to bounce him back to hand. And, oh, I love it. I love it. You can get rid of dupes, and, oh, it's so great. Love Gaston Grey. Put 3 of them in every Martell deck. I have to. I feel it's a must with all these big dudes out that can just gain power so fast, and they got stealth. I don't mind. Stealth my guy. Let me lose. I paid $2 for Gaston Grey. I'll get rid of that guy and make you spend more to bring him back out. And, hopefully it's after you got some dupes already played, and now you've lost those dupes, and they're in your discard pile. And now if you get him back out, he's a little more fragile. Love that feeling. Great card. Great card. And yeah, Gaston Grey, besides Sunspear on the board, just makes your opponent just think twice before every challenge. Love that. Putting more decisions on your opponent is what I love to do in Game of Thrones. Just the more decisions you throw on your opponent and make them do, the more mistakes they'll make, and the more pressure that's on them. And, then you can take advantage in your turn when you come back at them. So I love that Maester Kelote. That's I don't know how you say it, but that guy that's on the bottom there, that's Nelt, is a 3-cost Maester, Intrigue Power, 2 Strength. He's got an ability. Basically, after he loses a challenge in which he's participating, you can choose a character, and that character will lose a challenge icon of your choice till the end of the phase. So another great card for going second, even when you're going first. I guess it doesn't matter. You throw him in. If the opponent does an Intrigue or Power first, you throw him in there just to block the unopposed. Or you do it on offense, where you purposely try to lose to get him kneel someone out, and then you rip an icon off of a character, take away a military that they have on the board, or something off of a character that has stealth or renown, and try to weaken that character a little bit so they can't use them. I love that ability. Just another ability, I guess, to help slow down the opponent, try to keep the game, with stop it from going out of control on the other side, so that you can, strike when you need to. So I got a poison token there. I played Tears of Lys, won the intrigue, put a poison token there on Sir Waymar Royce, I believe his name is, if I have that right. Oh, Sir Waymar Royce. He has no intrigue icon, so I was able to drop a Tears of Lys. He's got Longclaw attached to him, I believe. That's giving him +1 strength and renown, so I'll get rid of that attachment back to the hand, and get rid of that 2 power on him. And I'm starting to learn to, I made the mistake in the past a few times. You play Tears of Lys, put that poison token on him, and then, then you go and do a military, and then they just pick that person as claim. Made that mistake way too many times. So I'm trying to, basically, if I do intrigue first and I get the Tears of Lys out, I've made that mistake if I didn't do military first, and I went strong with the Tears of Lys play first, and done that by accident. I usually just don't do military after that and consider that my military claim for the turn. But I try to remember to do military first if I can. Sometimes I don't have the icons out for it, which is something, weakness to my deck construction, which I'm working on. Those military icons, you need those in there. But if I can do military first, I'll do it first, before I do the Tears of Lys, so that I can get someone for military claim. But sometimes I'm worried that they'll just claim the person I'm going to kill. So, especially with someone like Benjen, where it's not too bad if he dies. And lately I've been noticing a lot of my opponents have been putting Little Bird on their in their decks when they play Stark, Night's Watch, that kind of stuff. Trying to attach it on characters that don't have intrigue icons to protect them from Tears of Lys. One of my favorite plays is playing Confiscation from Martell, the 1-cost event that takes a 4 strength or less character and removes their icons, and then you can drop Tears of Lys on them after that because they don't have an intrigue, which always feels good. Which I know I've done it to, I believe, to Jon Snow. I've got him before with it. Yeah, he's 4 strength or less, so Jon Snow's definitely a target for that. So Justin played the Wildfire. And then I did the March to the Wall there. So, yeah, take away a character and then do the Wildfire. Feels nice. Gotta make sure you don't goof that up there and do the wrong, trigger Wildfire or March to the Wall in the wrong order. Usually can hurt an opponent if you do the Wildfire. It depends which side you're on, obviously, but sometimes it's better to do one before the other. Just be careful. Slow down when you see that come out if you're deciding who's going first. You don't want to let the other player pick and then do it in the order that benefits them, which I know I've screwed that up before, but it's just something to learn with the new game, right? I know it existed in the old game, but who the hell played Wildfire Assault in 1.0? Come on, really. So Justin gets out a Steward at the Wall. That's basically their character reducer. So he's knelt him there to do some reduction. And he drops out a Ranging Party, which also has no attachments except weapon. 4 strength, military power, 5 strength, 4 cost. Military and power. Yeah, one thing I know I struggle with against Night's Watch, it's a little tough when they get out the Wall and Castle Black together. So the Wall is a 4-cost location in Night's Watch. So each, just as a blanket ability of each Night's Watch character you control gets +1 strength. And as a forced reaction, after you lose an unopposed challenge, you kneel the Wall. But then it has an interrupt when the challenge phase ends. Kneel the Wall to gain 2 power for your faction. So if you're playing the defensive game with the Wall, you're getting +1 strength, as long as you don't lose an unopposed. And Night's Watch has the chuds to block those unopposed challenges, which is nice. You can kneel it to gain a couple power. And Castle Black, basically you kneel it to stand a defending Night's Watch character until the end of the challenges. That character gets +2, or until the end of that challenge they get +2 strength. So it just helps you get, 2 uses out of one character. Just throw a chud in there and block the unopposed, and you can stand them, give them +2 strength. Maybe they win the challenge, and then they're standing, so you can use them in the next challenge too if they have multiple icons, which is always nice. But it gets a little frustrating. It definitely is a feature that they took from Stark in the first edition, where you can build the defensive wall style decks. Lately with Frozen Outposts and whatnot, it has that kind of feel where if you let the game go too long, Night's Watch will build up a wall and it's tough to get through, and then they're slowly trickling power if they don't let through unopposed challenges like Justin just did there. So we had to kneel the Wall. But the fun part is that veteran builder, if it's close to the end of the game, you can sacrifice him. He's a 3-cost power icon, 4 strength. You can sacrifice him to choose and stand a location. So it's kind of funny when, you forget about that and then you see the opponent, throw away the veteran builder and then stand the Wall just so they can kneel it at the end of the challenge phase if they've lost an unopposed. It's kind of funny. It's a neat little interaction. I really appreciate that kind of stuff where these little small things you discover later as you play. You see how the cards synergize. They did a really good job on these core sets, I think. So I play some Doran's game. So I won an intrigue and gain 1, 2, 3 power there for winning an intrigue. I guess we have 3 plots in my use pile now. We're in round 4. And I grab Ghost out of his hand, which is always good. Dirty old Ghost. Yeah, he's stealth on Ghost, which is always good to not see him on the board. So I'm up to 8 power, and Justin's only at 2. So I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. If I can just keep the pressure on, and hopefully he doesn't keep that wall built up, and I can push through unopposed challenges, that should be okay. So I pop my Gashion, send Sam back to hand, along with the attachment. After losing an intrigue, and then he intrigues out another Sun Spear, I believe that is. So no biggie on that one. That's a good location to grab. I already have one in play, and it's unique, so... I think he's doing military here. Oh no, it was power. It was power. Which I lost. So I'm down to 7. And he's now up to 4. End of the challenges phase. Oh, so he got rid of a Messenger Raven from his hand there. I guess to shrink his hand down to meet his reserve value on his plot there. Here we go. Game of Thrones on the right. Alternate art from Gen Con. Beautiful card. And on the left, we got... what is that? Filthy Accusations. That's the Neil plot, I believe. So he doesn't like Edric Dane. He's getting a little fed up with that stealth. So he's knelt him out there. Which stealth is great against a deck who's trying to stop me from winning unopposed challenges. So, especially as I keep his board small, which is nice. So I got a dupe on Littlefinger. Oh, I see a Jaime Lannister there in hand, so I'm going to play out my economy location. Oh, grabbing a whole whack load of gold. Yep, to play Jaime Lannister. Alright, feeling good, feeling good. Saving a gold there too. Alright. Now we're on to Justin's Marshall. Looks like he's got 6 gold. I think he's trying to figure out my strength there. I know people always get confused thinking Doran makes other lord and ladies +1, but it's actually only Martell lords and ladies. And it doesn't affect himself, it's only others, so. But sometimes the opponents get confused, they think I have more strength than I do, and it's a good feeling, I guess, but I'm always clear about it after they ask. Jon Snow duped. Jon Snow. So it's kind of weird. I learned during this game, I remember learning that Jon Snow, I always assumed it was a defensive ability he has, but it actually is a offensive ability, which doesn't really work well with the deck, which I know I was bugging Justin about when I realized that. As he's trying to defend challenges, Jon Snow, while he's standing, he's considered to be participating in each challenge in which you control another attacking Night's Watch character. I always assumed when I read the spoilers and whatnot, I thought it was any challenge. So I was like, oh, great. He just, you know, synergizes with the wall and helps you block challenges, no problem, and most likely win them. And then he's still standing, so on an offense he comes at you, you know, with every challenge. But not true. Not true. Usually, you know, it's kind of like the Viper. He tricks you into, you know, can't use him for defense, gotta save him for offense, and you know, it's not the greatest when they have those little limitations on them, but still a great ability. It's awesome, but it's not awesome too when the opponent has Gashion Grey out and you want to attack with other characters, and Jon Snow gets pulled into the challenge anyway, because then he's just now a target for Gashion Grey because he's participating. So, and unless he's blank, that ability's going off, so the opponent has no choice. So. Yeah, I love that little interaction. So because of my plot Game of Thrones, Justin has to win an intrigue challenge. I usually let the opponent go first with Game of Thrones out, because I like them coming at me trying to win an intrigue, and if I can defend it, then I've won my intrigue challenge. I've stuffed them, passes to me, to do my challenges. And if I don't want to do another intrigue, which usually I may have knelt out all my intrigue guys to defend the intrigue, I now can just go straight into my power and my military challenges. So it's great when you have a small board out and you might not be able to get all three challenges off anyway, to be able to stuff the opponent on their intrigue and then do your two challenges. That's nice. So I love that. I love playing with the plot that way, just using it as a defensive plot to try to stall the game out, cruise through a round, maybe swing it back in your way a little bit. So yeah, appreciate comments, guys, and likes if you want to throw those down in the video there. Any feedback. I feel originally, some of my metamates didn't really want to be filmed in the past, and I know at tournaments some people, when I bring the camera out, they shy away and they don't want to play on camera. But I find I was a little scared at first too, but yeah, playing on camera, yeah, you may lose, you may make mistakes, but I really like the feedback when people catch your mistakes, even stuff you didn't know, point out different card interactions or plays that you should have done, and mistakes you may have misread a card and that kind of thing. I love you guys when you post those comments and catch that, and I love reading them, and I love sending them to the guys who are in the videos, to point out, hey, you played this wrong, or hey, I did this wrong, or hey, the game could have been different, or hey, this card's better than we actually thought. It makes you a better player, is what I believe. So leave those comments down below, guys. Give the feedback. Help us all become better players. And I know other viewers will read the comments too and catch it. And especially since the reboot happened, we need to remember there's lots of new players, and we want to help you guys learn the game and play the game too. FFG has a great tutorial video you can go over there and watch. If you need some rules, to help you learn the game there, little introductory rules to help you understand what's going on here more. If you're a newer player, but yeah, I love that, we have a little community going, and we pass back and forth the feedback in the comments, and help out new players and old players alike, especially learn this new game. We're all new players, really, so we're all relearning the game. So it's a great time for new players to jump in. So welcome, new players. All right, Duped Viper is out on the board. And I think I got a little jump in my step there, a little excited. And my hand, I believe, is now empty. It's now empty. I got Sneak Attack out on the board, 5-11-2. I can only do one challenge. And yeah. Justin's playing two Filthy Accusations. So he can keep a guy knelt 2 phases in a row. So we got Edric Dane there. Which is nice. Yeah, Edric Dane's so good. You spend $2 on him, and the opponent's scared, and they're kneeling him, and focused on him. But it's like, I only spent $2 on him. I'm okay. You kneel him, yeah, kneel him. That's fine. Leave Doran with Insight standing. I'm good with that. I need card draw. And he didn't kneel Jamie, who can get 2 challenges off, has renown basically on military. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess because of the wall, he feels like he's stealth. You can't have me stealthing guys out, so he can't block the challenges. At least to stop the unopposed, so he can gain his 2 power. I even saved a gold. Oh, I keep having that extra gold, which is nice. Just sucks when Edric's knelt. So I'm deciding which challenge to do. I believe, because sneak attack I can only do one. Trying to figure out how much strength I have, how much power I have there. You know, if I can push through for the win here, which I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm only at 8 power, but yeah, I believe I only have 1 plot left. So that's the problem I find with Martell, is you get to that turn where, you know, you got 1 plot left, your use pile's about to go away, and you're panicking. You haven't seen your Doran's game you need, or, you know, Doran's ability is about to get turned off, or, you know, the Dawn attachment there that gives you a +1 strength for every plot in your use pile. You know, it gets turned off in the next round. You know, it's this race. When it starts getting a few plots into the game, you start to realize, you know, whether you're going to be able to push it through or not. Quite a few games with Martell, I've gone past that plot 7 because it's just too tough to pull out the win before then sometimes. But doesn't mean I don't win after that. But it's a little tough. You get a little worried when all your abilities, all your lords and ladies are back to their normal strength. It's you get worried, but you know. But they start going right back up after that. You hit round 2, so, or the second plot, I guess, of the next cycle. But yeah, Martell is definitely slow decks, I find. That's the one thing. Trying to speed up a Martell deck is my next thing to conquer. Which I've been looking at Superior Claim as an event to throw in there, but then it's just the Martell events are good, and you know, put to the sword, put to the torch. You know, playing Doran's game, you got Confinement, Unbound and Unbroken, Tears of Lys, Hands of Judgment. Oh, so many options, so many good events. And it's tough. It's hard to put, you know, certain events in and take others out. So putting Superior Claim in it, I feel like it's a win more card. So that's why I don't really put it in, but I don't know. Got to keep playing and see if I can consistently win the power challenges by 5 or more. If you know, if I know which is easier, if it's easier to, you know, get Doran's game off or Superior Claim or a little bit of both. You know, what's the right mix? Am I getting military challenges off +5 over the opponent so that I can play put to the sword or put to the torch? Should they even go in? Tears of Lys is nice, but do I need to keep killing that one character here and there if you know, if I can get through military claim and wildfires and, you know, targeted kneel or targeted kill? I don't know. I'm not sure. There's a fine balance there that has to be found, and I find it's challenging out of Martell. So yeah, any opinions, any fellow Martell players, anybody with opinions or any deck tips or anyone who was trying to solve the Martell puzzle in 2.0, put your comments below. Send me a message. Let me know what you're doing in Martell and what you think. Send me some deck lists, you know, some things you think. I'm trying different things out. I'm trying to banner to different houses. My latest kick actually is putting Martell with no agenda and putting in a lot of neutrals. I find I need that attachment hate to get rid of those Milk of the Poppies. So I've been putting in the Rattle Shirt Raiders. And, you know, putting in a couple of the extra events that are neutral. So playing Fealty is what my favorite Martell build was. And might still be, but, man, cutting down those neutrals to 15 is, stressful. Stressful thing. And I don't know if it's the right thing to do. So I'm trying no agenda now as my current build. And, you know, throwing in the little fingers, the Varis, you know, a put to the sword or 2, a put to the torch, Tears of Lys, a couple of those. You got your bodyguards, support of the hand, or seal of the hand. I love putting one of those in every deck. That is by far my favorite attachment card in 2.0 so far, seal of the hand. So many lords and ladies. Getting a second use out of your character. I mean, when someone comes to me and says, seal of the hand, too expensive, $3 for that attachment. Well, here's my counter to that. You can get out a Red Viper, a Doran, a Jaime Lannister, a Tywin, name any lord or lady that's expensive. I look at it as if you put Seal of the Hand on them, you've basically put out a second copy of that character And I don't mean duplicate, I mean standing right beside them. So you could have 2 Tywins on the board or 2 Red Vipers on the board basically by putting Seal the Hand on that Lord or Lady. And now you can use them on offense, on defense, on 2 different challenges of your choice. And that, my friend, is worth the $3. And not to mention, if that character goes away, that Seal the Hand comes back. And I love playing the attachment mini game in 2.0 of putting out an attachment early on a character that doesn't mean much, like a Marjorie Tyrell. Throw your Seal the Hand on her to get it going at the start, let her get some dual use, and eventually you can play March to the Wall or Wildfire. Kill her, get rid of her, and get that attachment back, or let the opponent, choose her as military claim, whatnot. Get the attachment back, put it out on the Randall Tarley that came out later, that kind of thing. I love that little mini game of when to play the attachment, purposely get it back to then play it out the next round on the character you're really trying to hit. Like if I don't see Viper till later in the game, I'm going to play my Seal of the Hand out on Doran or someone, maybe even Edric Dane, play it out on him. And then when they die or get discarded or eventually killed, or I kill them on purpose, as I see the Viper, when I draw that Viper, I'll realize, oh, there's the pairing. There's my Seal of the Hand target. And I'll purposely, the round before playing him, or that I've seen him, I'll get that Seal of the Hand back and then put it out next round on that character. And now I have dual use. I can defend with the Viper and then attack with him. I can use him in 2 challenges and get his ability off twice. Like, Seal of the Hand is money. It is money. And it can help you when you're in a bind. When you're getting hit hard and you only have your dudes out that are big and you're killing your military chuds, your military claim soak, getting 2 uses out of that character to just defensively hold off the opponent, especially Martell. Getting, you're playing second, third round. You don't care about Viper's ability so much. Using him as a double defense because of his 3 icons. Oh, so good to hold the opponent off until you can set up, and then push on the offense. I find so worth it. So yeah, Seal of the Hand. I feel it's great. If you're with me or against me on that one, leave it in the comments below. Let me know in the feedback. I don't know. I just see it as great. You put it on that character, you're gonna get it back if it goes away. I know they can discard it. Oh well, but if you can get a couple uses out of it, it's just like you played a second copy of that character. And yeah, like would you not, if you got a Tywin out, would you not spend $3 to put another Tywin right beside him to use them in the game? And that's how I feel. That's how I feel. It's like, I know it's not the same for claim purposes. You're still just that one character, but for attack and defense, it's like having a second copy of that character on the board that can participate in other challenges. So great card, worth the $3 in my opinion. So yeah. Yeah, sorry if I'm not commenting on everything that's happening in the game. Yeah, you guys can see it just like I can, and you see what's going on. I don't know every card yet. I'm on the other side of the board there. I'm not really too familiar with Night's Watch. I'm getting used to Tyrell, but yeah, I know Martell well, and I'm getting Lannister pretty well too. But yeah, not very familiar with the Night's Watch too much, other than just playing against Justin with them. I've never driven them myself, so yeah. So yeah, I guess we're on the last plot there. I'm a little worried. I'm looking through my plots going, how am I going to do this now? Kind of sucks, not having Doran's ability, pumping up the Viper. Oh. Looking at my board on the right there, that's when I see that kind of board, I start getting scared that March to the Wall is going to hit me hard. And I'm not even sure if Justin's playing it in his deck. I wasn't really paying attention to see if that was one of his plots. I don't think it was. But yeah, March to the Wall, hitting either Doran, Viper, or Jaime. Cannot be saved. It discards them, which is tough. And yeah, with the attachments out there, and the dupes and the power, March to the Wall would really kick me in the face. And I know it. I know I was looking at this board, and I always think that. I always looked, is the March going to hit me? What will I do? What would I play? And I usually have March in my own deck, so it's always an option I'm always thinking about, too. Yeah, in future videos, I'm going to try to get the other player on, or even my wife, which was in our last commentary video, because she plays the game and she knows it pretty well. She's been playing with me. She played 2.0 for the same amount of time we played it. She's been to tournaments. She's won store championships. She's gone to Gen Con. She's 2 years in a row and has played. She's got the experience of the big tournaments under her belt. So she's good to have on for the commentary. So hopefully I can get her on next time, so I can have someone else and you don't just hear my voice and we can actually have a conversation. But let me know in the comments below. I know I keep saying that, but let me know if my commentary is alright, or if you'd like to just hear me commentate on what's happening in the game instead of little side stories. Or if you'd rather me only do this when I have someone else on the cast here, recording with me. If you prefer. I can't always get my metamates to come over and do this, so because it is spending their time, and most likely, they want to come over and they want to play. They don't really want to sit here and record. Only losers like me are okay with doing that. So yeah, but I'm trying to spread the love of the game, and I love watching YouTubers play their Game of Thrones and their Warhammer Conquest LCGs. I love watching games, and that helps me learn the game. And you can't always find players with these LCGs. The game's not as big as Magic the Gathering, so sometimes your only experience that week of the game is going to be watching a couple other dudes or a couple girls and guys playing it on YouTube or Twitch. So that's what helped me learn 1.0. That was my first card game ever, and watching some YouTube streamers like Scantrell, watching them play the game on Octagon, or playing it in person, they helped teach me the game, and I got to see decks played that I would never get to see played just playing with my local gaming group. We don't have enough time to play that often, so watching games is something I like to do, and I felt I wanted I wanted to produce more content, so not only I could watch games that I record of other metamates playing while I'm playing, I can record them playing and watch it after. Just to have a game to watch. But I love watching other YouTubers. So if you're out there and you want to record some games, or you have your own YouTube channel and I'm not subscribed to you already, I'd love to watch you too. So send the links. Make sure you get posted in that new player FAQ that Scantrell has going on CardGameDB. He's got a little collection of YouTubers in there. He's adding them for new players to to find. But yeah, I like watching players play. It helps me learn. It helps me get better at the game. So I thought I'd return the favor and make my own YouTube videos. And yeah. And yeah, I apologize for the ads if you get the ad pop-ups on my videos. I basically use the money from those ads to buy better equipment. So the ad money helped me upgrade from crappy 720p webcams to 1080p webcams, and eventually helped me fund, put some money towards buying a GoPro, which I use in most of my videos now, which is night and day in quality, sound and video. And I want to buy some better lighting equipment. I made some ghetto lights using some Home Depot and do-it-yourself materials. And that's what lighting I'm using for these webcam videos. But the GoPro doesn't seem to need the lighting as much. But I want to buy some actual photography lighting, some professional portable lighting stands that I can move around my house or take to stores if I have to if it's a dark, those card stores and those game stores that are in the basements. They're dark dungeons, poor lighting, horrible to film in. I'd love to have a portable light I could bring, like a nice softbox light that can help light up the video and make it better quality. So that's what I'm trying to use the YouTube ad money towards, to help make these videos better, so I don't have to fund it out of my own pocket. So yeah, watch those ads, click on those ads if you can, and I apologize for them popping up, but I use it to help make these videos better, so I don't really want to ask for a donation, so I figured, you know, it's a slow trickle of funds, but it helps. So yeah. So Justin's getting out a big board here. It's not looking good for me. If we had the timer go off at 50 minutes, I'm pretty sure I would have won already, being in the lead. It would have been a modified win. I couldn't reach my win, but yeah, he's now got a big board out. And I'm at, what am I at? 9, 10, 11 power. And now he's creeped up to 10, 11. We're tied. 11, 11 here. And yeah, my card draw is slow, and yeah, he's got more cards. And now he's got Tarly out, Jon Snow, Marjorie. Oh man. And he's got those 2 damn Neil plots, filthy accusations, so he can keep my Viper under control. So I can't blow away to the win. Not good. Yeah, the game went on too long. He held me off. Yeah, so that's a fear, like I was saying before in Martell, of, you know, creeping past that 7th plot, and then all the, you know, your +1 abilities turn off. Your Doran's game now is useless, and you know, it's going to take a few more rounds to get it going. And in a tournament, that's too long. You're not going to make it there. So yeah, I got to figure out how to make Martell decks faster, especially to get through these Baratheon and Night's Watch decks that can get power off their locations, or decks playing Iron Throne that can just trickle power over time. When the game goes too long, you know, the opponent can just win based on time if you can't keep power coming off their house card. So I removed the icons off Marjorie there, desperately trying to survive, so Justin can't explode to the win. And I have to let through unopposed challenges so that I can put challenges on him, because if I just, you know, play defensively and I don't get through an unopposed challenge, it's hard. Now that he's got multiple units out, he can, you know, chud block some of my challenges just to stop the unopposed and then get his 2 power off the wall. So I know the game's almost over. I can feel it. I can feel it. If I can't push through for the win, he's gonna just accelerate to it. If I can't hold him off. So I'm looking through my plots there, trying to figure out, can I play anything to help me next round? Help me get to the win. I want to thank all my metamates for coming over. You know, some of them had to drive an hour or so to get to my place. We used to all live close together, but some of us have moved away. But we still get together to play Thrones. We still travel to Gen Con and the FAR tournaments. We'll drive 3 hours to store championships together. So something we've had in common over the last 2.5 years or so, playing Game of Thrones 1.0. So we're going to try to continue that with 2.0. So I want to thank them for coming down to my place to play in this tournament, which was not my idea, but I love when they want to play. I'm always down for that. So yeah. Try to send the ranging party back to his hand just to stop that 1 power. Try to slow him down a little bit. He's 12, 13. Yeah. And he plays Superior Claim there to gain 2 power, and he gets the game. Went on too long. I couldn't push through the win. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to more of my videos coming up. I'll post the next games I recorded, like I said. All the games of the tournament. So I'm gonna, you know, play all 3 games from the first round. You know, where all 6 of us are in, and then we'll move on. Thanks for watching, and yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe for more.